Why build yourself?
I'm not meant to die in here.
Here, there. What's the difference?
What will you do?
Rebuild it. Just the way it was, brick for brick. What does that mean?
Rise.
I broke you. All of you come back.
Just yesterday, I had a reasonable conversation with a fellow homeless. I do not waste my time talking with, boomers, with couples, with those with little kidlings running around, a family. Don't waste my time. I don't waste my time talking to people that got, nice golden chains on and, the latest Gucci, big old Nike shoes, driving around in nice boombox cars, making a bunch of noise. I don't waste my time. I talk to people that are quite literally down and out. Because, like myself, those seem to be, unless they're drug addicts, the only people that have had the time to think, that have had the time to really assess their situation and ask those questions. Why? Anyone in the public school system will know that, those that question anything are punished. You are punished. They don't want you asking, they want you conforming. And that's why there won't be any change. It was either Andrew Jackson or Benjamin Franklin who said, and this is most wise, those who would sacrifice a little freedom for comfort deserve neither. This is why things won't change. Great. The normies are starting to wake up to the abysmal job market. That the rug is indeed being pulled out from underneath them, that the older generation is to blame in many regards, though whether they were duped or not doesn't matter, that their parents are not thinking about their long-term future. In fact, they're spending the money for themselves in retirement, right? They gotta do the old Malachian ritual and sacrifice the youth for their future and their betterment. They're just now starting to wake up to these things. But it's too late. You see, I got a lot of respect for the truckers that did about a 2-week protest. Trump had to send the National Guard in. Or no, it was Biden who had to send the National Guard in. He had to then state that they work around the clock, 24 hours, right, to make up for all that time. I don't know if any of you guys remember that. Got a lot of respect for those truckers, okay? They weren't, they weren't protesting for, really things that matter. They were protesting for a wage. But they did something. They acted. They acted on behalf of a grievance. They did not just sit idle. They weren't just talking, just yapping, complaining, wasting breath amidst themselves, not even having the gall to go out in public and say these things, to proclaim these things openly. Book of Proverbs talks about how wisdom crieth from the rooftops, crieth in the streets. No one listens. That's true. Oh, man. It's always been true. Always. Now, you got the gays, you got the LGBTQs that are able to do protests and marches. You got the nignogs that are able to, organize with Antifa and all that. You've got other races that are willing to collectivize on things that are quite literally not important. They're not important issues, but they still rally together. And yet the white man, who is more intimately aware of these things as he is at the bottom, okay? The white man's burden is a real thing. There is no white privilege. That's a load of hogwash. Yet he is so intimately aware and acquainted with these things, like myself, and you can't collectivize for dick. this homeless guy that I talked to, he's been homeless now for 5 years. And he's telling me, man, just be content. Be content with the little that you have. Enjoy, this medial existence. And I said, there's nothing wrong with being content, man. In fact, I think everyone should be striving for contentment, which is, being okay with your circumstances in its totality, and finding, the bright side. Being grateful. Okay, these aren't just copes; these are necessary in order to keep your mind established in turbulent times, like your life as a white man. Or a white, not white, I forget it. You women, you guys don't have any problems. Get out of here. But, no. So, I told him, I'm like, yeah, man, I'm more than happy with being content with my situation as it is currently. I've got food, I've got clothing, I've got a place to stay. But I'm not happy. And I think happiness is something worth striving for. The happiness could be attainable if we had a government that didn't, take all our money and send it elsewhere. And he's trying to tell me that this is a good thing, right? This is how brainwashed he was, but I was able to reason with him, to actually discuss the issues at hand that matter and bring him back to his current position, right? So he's telling me, well, shouldn't we be helping other countries? I'm like, dude, we send billions of dollars to other countries. And I didn't get into the nitty gritties, but it's like, dude, you as a homeless white man, you can't get a job. You're getting barely any money from social assistance and food stamps. And yet you're trying to tell me that we should be helping other countries. Billions of dollars every year, and you can't even get a little bit of that. You can't even get anything more than enough to just get by. And his eyes opened a little bit. It's like, yeah, dude, this is the USA. The USSA. The most affluent. One of the most affluent. That's all people talk about. Oh, there's so much opportunity. Land of the brave. Home of the free. Freedom of speech, Bronco. Constitution. Hey, founding fathers. And yet, look at you, man. And look around you. Do you see other races in this position? No. Use your eyes, man. Wake up. Get out of the programming. Unplug a little bit. There is no assistance for you. They want you to just eke it out another day. They don't want you to prosper. Okay, you gotta have, and I told him, I'm like, you got a very limited vision, and I understand. You've now been in this, position of homelessness, destitution for 5 years. It's very understandable and reasonable that you would just be content with this very base existence. But I can't deal with it. And I won't deal with it. I won't stand for it. Especially as a young man who's able-minded and able-bodied, seeing nothing but degenerate filth exceed and excel. Seeing those that don't have 2 brain cells to rub together getting a job. No joke, dude. People that couldn't even graduate high school are able to get their GED and get a job right now. I graduated high school. I got a college degree. I've been in the job market for around 10 years. I actually have credentials and a resume. I'm a great orator. Most competent in a plethora of fields. I can't get a job. You want to know why? Dashboard has said it. Marxist ideology, to each according to his ability, to each according to his ability, to those, I can't say it, but I'll put a picture of it. He wrote this great little paragraph on it in his one of his Discords. I can't remember that little slow because I don't give a fuck, man. Okay, I'm not gonna be sitting here, being a proponent of Marxism, but it makes sense. Those that actually have the ability will be providing for those that don't. Okay, that's basically what it is in summation. And if you don't see that, it's probably because you're one of those. It's probably because you're one of those inadequate filth. In fact, and one of those little dope bags that we're providing for. I won't do it anymore. Okay? I'm not lying flat by choice. I'm not some Jap that gave up. The once honorable Japanese are now lying flat, are proponents of rotting away in their rooms playing video games all day. I will not. I would most gladly usurp authority if I could. But you can't, because you can't get the white race to collectivize on anything, even the most base and medial of issues. You talk about a union in any job and people will be like, oh, shh, be quiet. Don't say that. I'm going to lose my job. Dude, you're working part-time. You're living with mommy and daddy. The fuck you talking about? If anyone should be able to, collectivize and unionize, it should be you who's getting peanuts. Who's getting the crumbs off the master's table. Come on, man. But this is how pathetic. This is how limited. There's no vision anymore. People are so just defeated. There's no fire in the belly, and I think most of it comes down to no testosterone running through your guy's body. Maybe not some of you on this channel, but holy golly. When you sedate yourself with drugs all day, when you're an alcoholic dirtbag, when you're a fiend for vice, you're not going to be utilizing your energies for anything more than getting the next fix. You're most assuredly going to, put yourself under the boot of your boss. You're most certainly gonna, get spat on by society and women. You ain't gonna do nothing. You ain't gonna stand for anything. You'll fall for everything. And I'm tired of it. One thing about being in this position and actually being sober-minded is, like I said, I am most acquainted with the issues at hand. I see them play out every single day. And the reason I can't even collectivize or find some kind of comfort with those in the same lot as me is because the majority of them are not sober. You cannot trust an addict. Not to mention these addicts are just retarded. How hard is it to find a local woods and make a shelter quickly? You got a phone. Look up Corporal's Corner and figure out how to build a hut for the night. Why are you sleeping on a bench? Huh? Why are you being a vagrant and going on, a private property and trying to, set up a tent there? How stupid are you? These people deserve to be in the position that they're in. Not someone like myself. Yeah, here I am. Oh, I had someone in the comment section saying, you really need to find a shelter for the winter. Do some research on that, bucko. I can just tell from a comment like that, you've never had to deal, or you've never had the threat of something like this looming on the horizon. Because if you did, you look up a couple videos on those that have been to shelters near you, you'll look at reviews of shelters near you, and instantly, it doesn't take more than a couple clicks, you'll find out that most people have nothing nice to say. The atmosphere is terrible. The people are getting paid such dog shite wages that they don't care about you. The quality of your care is subpar. They look at you as a criminal, as an evildoer. You don't come in there, of sound mind and sound body and get treated as such. You get treated like every other degenerate dirtbag that comes in, wanting a handout, wanting somewhere to stay until they can get their life together, okay, and get back on the street and get another fix. That's who you're lumped in with. I made a few videos now, pretty much, actually my live stream, I talked about how the narrative right now in mainstream media is that the homeless people are degenerates, they're vagrants, they're evildoers, okay, that they're dirty, unkempt. I believe a lot of this is government funded. I really do. I believe a lot of these people are given funding by the government to continue these, degenerate lifestyles. There's no way someone in this position can still get access to drugs. There's no way. There's no way every single day they can be, completely zombified, coked out of their mind, sedated off weed or whatever. There's no way. There's no way these people can, have a bottle in their hand every other day. Dude, I have no money. I don't have a job. Food stamps does not give you cash. It gives you food benefits. I can only get food. It's very clear. It's very obvious. Yet somehow these people are able to get access to all manner of substances. Yep. It's purposeful. It's by design. And so when they do say that there is, a serious problem with homelessness, that they can rally the public in purging you, any means necessary. Look at what they've been doing with the National Guard. This has been happening since COVID. I couldn't believe it when I saw, Trump rallying the National Guard to start doing everything for him. They say, oh, he's got no power. Bro, he's been using his executive power for a while now. That's all the National Guard is. It's cleanup crew. It's absolute cleanup crew. And right now, it's cleanup crew for the homeless. Right now, they're focusing on the cities. They're focusing on getting rid of immigrants. But don't worry, bucko. Eventually, it's going to come to you and me, who are in the same position. And it's all by design. I make it very clear that the people in this town do not like me. Do they talk to me? No. Do they care to understand my story? My side of the story? Absolutely not. They just see me lingering around, trying to, stay occupied, stay busy. Maybe I laugh and I have a smile on my face because I'm watching a video, and they'll think, oh, wow, that guy's down and out. I see that guy, he's homeless. How could he be happy? He must be mentally ill. They don't care, man. They don't care about your side. They want you gone. Okay? They're high on the hog. They got it all, figured out. They have missed the forest for the trees. They will wait until suffering is at their doorstep to do anything. And right now, you are a reminder of what possibly could come to them. And they don't want that reminder. People do not want to be reminded of anything bad, of anything negative. They don't want any sober realities brought to their attention. But this emboldens me. Just that one interaction that was fruitful with someone that was down and out, who was sober-minded and not a degenerate dirtbag, shows me that it is possible to reach people. That not everyone is some brain-dead zog hog. And that in this town especially, that's probably the only person that's reasonable enough to listen. I will be traveling. It will have to happen. And I look forward to those whom I encounter. That's all I gotta say, man. Be a man of action, not merely a man of talk. Too many echo chambers online. There's too many people that, think they're somebody when, again, you don't have a channel. And I do say that. You don't gotta dox yourself. I don't give a lick about that. I only do it because I don't care. But I'm so tired of anyone thinking there's somebody and they don't even got the balls to, appear on a channel and do a voice chat, okay? To get in communication with you through a Discord or something like that. Or, again, to start their own channel. If you're so smart, if you got it all figured out, start a YouTube channel. If you're charismatic and you got a personality and you're somebody in real life, start a YouTube channel. Do something. Broadcast these things. But you won't. You'll continue to linger and lurk around those that actually have the balls, okay, that actually are not afraid of failure, right? They failed because they've tried. They've tried and failed and tried and failed, and eventually they've succeeded. The problem with my generation is they're too afraid to even start. It's true. I don't know how you ever expect to get anything done if you don't try, if you don't, get out of your comfort zone. I was forced, so I'm not gonna, speak like, oh, I just made it up in my mind one day and this is what I did. I've had to do these things, but in doing these things, I found that I'm most capable. Eventually, the mind is neuroplastic enough, it's maladaptive enough to overcome, and I settle into a new normal, and I find an equilibrium, a homeostasis, a balance in this new way of living, this new outlook I've had to adopt. And so I have seen that the not only the mind but the body is miraculous. It can adapt to even the harshest of things, the harshest of realities in which you are thrust into. Man can deal with almost any why. Just do not ask him how. Fyodor Dostoevsky. is all I have to say. Nut up or shut up. I long for the day the suffering plagues you all. For in suffering, you'll find out who you really are. Are you a cucked out little toad who deserves to go? Or are you someone of substance?
Drink spilled, belly bloated, pants soaked, defeated.